times. This morning, see how he made it.
Remembering a 70s teen heartthrob.
Look, I didn't ask those girls to chase me.
David Cassidy dies at 67. How he captivated a generation and the wish he made as he took on dementia.
Plus, John Lennon's personal items, his diary, even his famous glasses found overseas. See who stole them from Yoko Ono and how they were recovered.
And the big news overnight about Prince Harry and his American girlfriend, Meghan Markle.
From ABC News in New York, this is America This Morning.
A good Wednesday morning. We begin with breaking news overseas. A U.S. Navy plane has crashed in the Pacific.
It's all happening in the last few moments. We know now that there were 11 people who were on board. A search and rescue operation is underway in the Philippine Sea south of Okinawa, Japan. 8 people have been recovered, but their fate unclear.
The Navy's Pacific Fleet says in a statement the transport plane was on its way to the USS Ronald Reagan. The names of the crew and passengers are being withheld pending notification of their families.
So this is from the Pacific Fleet, which has been involved in 2 deadly accidents in the last 5 months. Most recent was in August when the USS John S. McCain collided with an oil tanker near Singapore. 10 sailors were killed in that incident. We're going to bring you more details on today's crash as soon as we get it.
And now we're to politics and President Trump's first public reaction to the Roy Moore sexual misconduct scandal. The president has all but endorsed the Alabama Republican, saying the nation can't afford a Democrat in that Senate seat.
And his statement comes as we're hearing for the first time from veteran newsman Charlie Rose, who's now been fired amid growing allegations against him. ABC's Stephanie Ramos is tracking both stories for us this morning. Stephanie, good morning.
Candace, Diane, good morning. For days now, the White House has said Alabama voters should decide who takes the Senate seat. But now President Trump is saying it should not go to a Democrat, even though the Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore is accused of sexual misconduct by multiple women. President Trump doesn't usually hold back his opinions, but for 12 days, he didn't say much about the sexual misconduct accusations against Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore.
Mr. President, is an accused child molester better than a Democrat?
He totally denies it. He says it didn't happen. And, you know, you have to listen to him also.
The president, who's also had sexual allegations made against him, sticking with the former Alabama judge's denials. 8 women have come forward saying they were in some way sexually assaulted by Moore 40 years ago. Some were teens at the time. The president insisting there is no other option in this race.
What do you think about his candidacy? I can tell you one thing for sure. We don't need a liberal person in there, a Democrat. Jones.
In a Tuesday night interview on the Alabama cable network, Moore vehemently denounced the allegations against him.
I never dated underage women, and I never engaged in sexual misconduct with anybody.
But women we spoke to in Alabama said Moore had a reputation.
He preferred younger women and to keep an eye on the young girls while they were working because he would try to date them, and sometimes it made them nervous.
Sexual allegations rocking both the political and media world. Accusations of sexual misconduct against veteran journalist Charlie Rose have cost him his job at CBS News, PBS, and Bloomberg TV. Rose first apologized to his accusers and then later said this to Splash News.
You want to say anything to those accusers, the people that's accusing you of all these wrongdoings?
It's not wrongdoings.
Gayle King spoke about her former CBS This Morning co-host Charlie Rose last night on Stephen Colbert, and she called all of this very painful. Kenneth, Diane.
All right, thanks to Stephanie Ramos there in D.C. Thank you.
And Michigan Congressman John Conyers is facing an ethics investigation in the House, and overnight, his hometown newspaper called on him to resign. The 88-year-old Democrat has acknowledged using taxpayer money to settle the claim of a former staffer who said she was fired for refusing his sexual advances. Conyers denies the allegations. BuzzFeed reports another aide planned to sue Conyers for sexual harassment, but dropped the suit. Meanwhile, Congresswoman Jackie Spears says Conyers is not one of the 2 members of Congress she referred to last week as having engaged in sexual misconduct, implying there are others.
Okay, so this is fascinating. Dramatic video released overnight showing a North Korean soldier making a run for it. He was shot 6 times during his daring escape to the south, and it was caught on camera. ABC's Joey Cho from Seoul.
What you see here is the Northern Territory above the DMZ. That Jeep spotted on surveillance camera racing down the road towards the south that leads to the demarcation line. in that Jeep is the defector. That white building is controlled by the North Koreans, and we're told that there is a barricade there, which we can't see in this video. The Jeep seems to slow down for a moment, then quickly speeds up. Don't know if you caught that moment just now, but there's a soldier that runs after the vehicle. It looks like the defector broke through the bars, then races past this bridge. These are the North Korean soldiers on guard at the joint security area. After noticing that Jeep, 4 of them running to the Jeep, they are fully armed. Now this shows the Jeep falling into a ditch, then stuck there. He then jumps out, sprints for life to the south. At the same time, North Korean soldiers firing guns. One of them that looks like he's just fallen is actually diving into a crouching position to shoot. Then here, this is the moment when a North Korean soldier in pursuit of this defector steps across the white line, which would be a violation of the ceasefire agreement. After a few steps, he quickly realizes that he's crossed, then hurries back to their side. Infrared imagery showing 2 South Korean troops trying to rescue the fallen defector, carefully crawling, then dragging this man to safety. Joo Hee-cho, ABC News, Seoul, South Korea.
Just incredible there. By the way, when the 24-year-old soldier woke up after surgery, he asked if he was in South Korea, and when he was told that he was there and he was safe, he asked to hear some South Korean pop music. He told the doctor when he recovers, he wants to study law.
All right, dance party. And 3 military personnel are being reassigned from their roles at the White House after being accused of improper contact with foreign women during President Trump's recent trip to Asia. The Washington Post says the 3 service members are non-commissioned Army officers who broke curfew in Vietnam. Now, this comes just months after 4 service members were removed from Vice President Mike Pence's detail for bringing women to their hotel in Panama.
The Thanksgiving holiday escape is now underway for millions of Americans. Take a look at the gridlock on the freeway in Los Angeles overnight. AAA predicts a 3% increase in holiday traffic this year. And let's take a look now at the weather for the holiday weekend.
Good morning. Travel weather for Wednesday looking pretty good for the Midwest, Southwest, as well as the Southeast, even along the East Coast. Problem areas along the northwest corner of the country. That's where it's going to be not so great to travel for Wednesday. We go into Thanksgiving Day. High pressure on one side of the country and the other. Chilly but clear. Warm but clear. Rainy northwest, rainy down in Florida. And then for that big chopping day, watch out for scattered showers in the north central part of the country. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Paul Williams.
Coming up, the massive data breach that Uber is accused of covering up.
Also ahead, buyer beware, the top counterfeit product on the market this holiday season, and how you can make sure you're not being ripped off.
And the secret behind these glasses and other items that once belonged to John Lennon and have just been recovered overseas.
Desperate as those 44 crew members on board are expected to run out of oxygen today. They haven't been heard from in a week since reporting a battery problem. The weather has improved, so search crews are more hopeful. Crews from 7 countries are now part of that search.
Uber has now revealed a massive cyber attack last year that impacted 57 million customers as well as drivers. New York's Attorney General is now investigating the breach. Uber says that personal information of customers was compromised, but none of the data went public because the company paid the hackers $100,000 to recover the data and keep the breach a secret.
Federal agents are cracking down on counterfeit products as the holiday shopping season ramps up. 20% of all counterfeit goods in the U.S. come through JFK Airport in New York, where agents are seizing a record number of fake products, including electronics and even fake medication. They say Viagra is now the #1 target for counterfeiters.
If consumers want to buy it, counterfeiters will be able to make it.
Many bogus drugs contain herbs. Some even contain sawdust. Agents also found knockoff perfume and cologne that contained horse urine. They say the only way to avoid being ripped off is to buy the items at an authorized retailer. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Ew. More than 100 pieces of stolen John Lennon memorabilia have now been recovered in Germany. The items include glasses, diaries, even a handwritten music score. They were stolen from Yoko Ono's New York home 11 years ago. Police have arrested 1 man, but another suspect is in Turkey. They believe he once worked for Ono as a chauffeur.
When we come back, the major scandal hitting a professional sports team.
And also ahead, another gold.
Spreading love. bringing light into people's lives, giving everything in my heart and soul, because I know I'm a loving, caring human being.
That's David Cassidy speaking with Dr. Phil in March of this year about how he wanted to be remembered. Cassidy died on Tuesday from complications with dementia and organ failure at 67 years old.
He was a teen heartthrob in the 1970s after landing that breakout role, of course, on The Partridge Family. ABC's Adrian Bankert takes a look back.
David Cassidy, pop singer, teen idol. Cassidy catapulting into national prominence in 1970 with the TV series The Partridge Family. Starring as Keith Partridge, son of Shirley Partridge, who was played by Cassidy's real-life stepmother, Shirley Jones. Songs on the TV sitcom topped the pop charts.
I think I love you. I think I love you. I think I love you.
Cassidy produced numerous albums with the Partridge Family and some solo ones. He continued his music career into his later years when he began to suffer from substance abuse. Earlier this year, Cassidy announced that he had been diagnosed with dementia, describing on the Dr. Phil show how he first realized he may suffer from the disease.
When friends of yours or family members begin to say to you, remember I just told you this 2 days ago, and there is no memory of it. That's when I began to be very concerned.
What do you want to most be remembered for?
Spreading love, bringing light into people's lives, giving everything in my heart and soul, because I know I'm a loving, caring human being. I don't mind being remembered for being an alcoholic. I don't mind being that.
David Cassidy was 67 years old. Adrian Bankert, ABC News, New York.
And the reactions have just been pouring in overnight.
Yeah, among them, Brady Bunch's Maureen McCormick tweeting, "So very sad to hear of David Cassidy passing away. Deep down, I dreamt of being a partridge." And Marie Osmond, of course, wrote, "He graced the covers of Teen Magazine with my brothers in the 70s. My condolences to his family." Our website has more tributes and more on Cassidy's life and career, atmfans.com.
We turn now to the search for a suspected serial killer in Tampa, Florida. Police have raised the reward to $110,000. 4 people have been killed in the same neighborhood. Police are trying to find a man seen on surveillance video. They say anxiety is running high with the holiday approaching. Meanwhile, a disturbing article in the New Yorker magazine quotes a homicide expert who studies criminal records. He says 2,000 serial killers could be at large in the U.S. right now.
The Justice Department investigating Harvard University's affirmative action program. The investigation stems from a federal complaint that accuses the school of discriminating against Asian Americans during the admissions process. Now, Harvard faces a December deadline to provide some information to those investigators or face a potential lawsuit.
Olympic gold medalist Gabby Douglas has come forward to say she is a victim of former team doctor Larry Nassar. Douglas joined 2 teammates in making the claim against Nassar. On Instagram, she said she did not go public before because the memories of the sexual abuse were so painful. The accusation comes days after it appeared Douglas was victim-shaming teammate Aly Raisman following Raisman's abuse claim on 60 Minutes. Douglas has apologized and says she stands by her teammates. Nassar is expected to plead guilty to several charges today. He could face more than 25 years in prison. And a major punishment is in for the major leagues. A former general manager of the Atlanta Braves has been banned from all baseball after league officials found the team violated international signing rules by shifting money between recruits. 13 players signed by the team will now have their contracts voided. And up next in the Pulse, see the canine officer who can do push-ups better than some humans.
And also had the
Prince Harry saying goodbye to his long-distance relationship.
Yes, as you can see it right there. Harry's American girlfriend Meghan Markle is reportedly moving in with him. Now that Markle has wrapped up her last season on the TV series Suits, she's expected to live with Harry in his 2-bedroom cottage on the grounds of Kensington Palace, right next to Buckingham Palace there.
As source tells People magazine, Harry believes Markle is the one.
Uh-oh.
And a royal wedding could come next summer.
We're going to London.
I am getting ready for my invitation.
This is what it's going to look like.
I bet. That's
Yeah.
the dress and everything.
Yeah. So there's a new mystery surrounding a former basketball player who is best known for his height.
That's right. Manute Bol was the tallest NBA player in history at 7'7" tall. Here he is with teammate Spud Webb, who is
5'7".
5'7".
Yeah. Good 2 feet
Pretty big
there.
difference there.
Yeah.
The coach who brought Bol to the U.S. from Sudan now says he made up Bol's age because Bol didn't know his own birthday.
Wow, so get this. The coach believes Bol was closer to 40 during his rookie season, not 22.
What?
If true, Bol, who died in 2010, would have been playing in the NBA at age 50, making him the tallest and the oldest player ever, and on top of his game also at the same time.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, a rookie who currently plays in the NBA is making news this morning. He managed to use Thanksgiving shopping as a teaching experience for kids and for himself.
Jarrett Allen of the Brooklyn Nets took 25 middle school students to the grocery store. He gave them each $70 to buy their Thanksgiving dinners.
Allen also gave them a shopping list, pencils, calculators, to teach them how to budget. The 19-year-old said he needed to learn some budget tips himself, since this is his first Thanksgiving away from home.
Ah, he's going to tally up that grocery list. And now we take you to the Gulf Shores of Alabama, where even the K9 unit is in shape.
All right, take a look at Nitro, a 2-year-old Dutch Shepherd doing push-ups with his colleagues. Cute video shot to promote a home security campaign.
And it seems to be working. The video's been viewed on Facebook nearly 300,000 times.
I love that he moves ahead every time he does one.
He thinks it's a race.
Uh-huh.
Maybe there's a dog treat waiting for him at the end.
That's probably it.
That's how I do push-ups.
Oh, great.
A little piece of lasagna dangling
There's
in front
something
of me.
dangling right there.
Ooh, yeah.
Cargo plane carrying 11 people has crashed in the Philippine Sea. It went down during a joint naval exercise between the United States and Japan. The plane was on its way to the USS Ronald Reagan, you see there, when it crashed. At least 8 of the people on board have been found.
President Trump has come to the defense of Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore, citing Moore's denial of sexual misconduct accusations. Meanwhile, Charlie Rose has spoken out, saying, quote, it's not wrongdoings, when he was asked about the harassment claims he's facing.
And the Alabama prisoner who escaped for the second time in a month has now been recaptured. Since escaping on Sunday, Shane Vernon was allegedly behind 3 home invasions and a kidnapping.
Looking at today's weather, expect some heavy rain in the northwest. We expect below normal temperatures in the Midwest and South. The east will see a mixed bag of precipitation.
Well, finally from us this morning, a new home for the Mirrorball Trophy. Dancing with the Stars crowning a new champion.
After 10 weeks of tangos, twists, and twirls, Hamilton star Jordan Fisher sealed the deal. George Pinocchio shows us how.
Jordan and Lindsay! Jordan Fisher and Lindsay Arnold are the season 25 Dancing with the Stars champions. For Jordan, the victory goes way beyond the mirror ball.
I love what I do, and I love any opportunity to be able to challenge myself and to be challenged. And Lindsay has made me a better everything, a better person, artist, brother, friend, all of those things. And that is what I'm going to take away from this.
We have worked so hard, and to have it pay off like it did tonight, I truly can't express how grateful I feel right now. I will never forget this season and this moment.
Lindsay Sterling and Mark Ballas landed in second place. Lindsay believes in the power of prayer and asked her fans to pray for her that she'd do her very best in the finale.
I made it to the finale. I wanted to do that from the beginning. I'm so excited that I got to have the entire experience. I killed it. Like, my prayer was answered. I went out there. I had a blast. Something about these last 2 nights was really special.
Frankie Muniz and Whitney Carson wound up in third place, but he's not done dancing yet. He and Jordan are both going on the new Dancing with the Stars tour.
We get another 13, 14 weeks of the tour and dancing with her, and I'm so thrilled. This is the best experience, and it doesn't end, so I'm excited.
Dancing is done for another season, but it will be back in the spring with an abbreviated all-sports edition. In the meantime, this crew needs to get this set back into storage. In Los Angeles, George Pinocchio for ABC News.
It's going to be an all-sports edition come spring.
Looks good.
Exciting.
And the party continues on GMA today with the winners on set. All 3 finalists, actually.
Have a great Wednesday, everybody.
ABC News, America's #1 news source. Straightforward news, straight to the heart of the story. ABC News, straightforward.